When I saw the 6th Invitational event, the program, the trailer they released for it, there was a spark of excitement seeing the way the layout of the stadium was set up. The thousands of possibilities came rushing into my head, all the different options of what exactly was about to be announced. And when you're excited for things to come, you can easily be swayed by the simplest of visuals, thinking that maybe, just maybe, your dreams are about to come true. And while I thoroughly enjoyed the SI playlist and the stadium map in general, it was not the hopes I had for it. And with this being said, here's my list of things I believe Siege needs going into the year 2020. The first thing that hyped me up in this trailer was the section where Habana was gunning down targets in what appeared to be a training or shooting range. As one thing I've been praying to the Siege gods for is a built-in aim training mode. Many gunners and pros alike instead turn to outside games or softwares such as AimLabs, which you see here Pro Player Yeti from the team E United warming up on. Software such as AimLabs has repeatable timed and scored drills to help you hone your mechanical aim skill and improve your play. This combined with T-Hunt is how most high-level players warm up. And after all this time, Siege should have a built-in mode to serve a similar purpose. To help players improve their mechanical skill, their crosshair placement, their movement, their recoil control, and maybe even some game knowledge. The other wild idea that I was hoping for based on the viewing of the Invitational trailer was the idea of a modular map, something that could be modified and improved on based on the feedback of testers and maybe the community, something that could be molded and maybe scheduled to change to keep things fresh without bloating the map pool. This wouldn't necessarily have to be a competitive map, but maybe a version of it could be if agreed to by the pro community. Or maybe just keep it something that could be experimented with. And while the version of the map that we got was basically an alternative Oregon, I think the combination of the old with the new was something the community responded pretty positively to. I think that overall it was a massive success, and seeing what they did with this opens up tons of future possibilities. Imagine taking, for example, like good sections of maps that were deemed overall to be bad, such as like Favela or Fortress or something like that, and taking the good parts of them and retooling them together into kind of a better overall map, kind of like a Voltron style combination. Okay, that wasn't something I came up with while watching the video, but something I just thought up on the fly as I was talking, but you see where my thought process is going. This modular style of map has so many possibilities, and it'd be interesting to see where they could take it. Operator creativity, in my opinion, has been the strong suit of the R6 team. With 52 operator as of the end of Season 4, we've seen some fantastic meta-changing seasons due to creativity from the team that creates operators for us to play. While some seasons have been better than others in terms of balance, Lion, Ella, it's rare that creativity is lacking from the team. Even the operators the community dubs as weak, such as Warden for example, which if you believe that you're wrong, but I'll cover that in a future video, they still have creative design implementations and looks to them. What I would like to see from the operators in the upcoming seasons is more of what you would call niche operators. Creative solutions to very specific problems, such as Warden or Nook or Amaru. Operators that incentivize a different playstyle or creative placements of specific gadgets. In terms of the gadgets, Valkyrie is a favorite operator of a great many people and also a source of pride for them due to the creative and intelligent placement of her cameras. You all know who in your group is the Valk main because you've heard them criticize other people's cams and or gloat when they find a new badass placement. This can be said for a lot of different operators, however, for example, my Capcam buddy main is very judgmental, but Valk is definitely the most vocal of the operator groups. This creativity and source of pride is a fantastic motivator for people to main characters, to consistently tweak and perfect your placements for different effects. Well, my this season, for example, has been a blast for me to play for that similar reason. And while I could just toss them around in any safe place and be done with it, why not instead think of creative ways to force your enemies' flashes or even frags to backfire on them, forcing them to retreat or die to their own utility? And while we're on the topic, I would like to see an overhaul of a number of different gadgets, specifically those which remove your ability to control your character properly. Elemine, Zofia stuns, yokai, and air jabs are all things I wish to never see in another operator. It is not fun to play against, and it forces a unfun, unwinnable situation. No gadget in the game should mess with your in-game sense like Ella's Mines and Zofia stuns. They're easily the most frustrating gadgets to be hit by. I like to see Legion Goo mines also take a hit, as they do far too many things. Specifically, I like to see them remove the initial damage of the mines and remove its ability to stop plant. While we're on overpowered operators, Echo needs his drones reverted to his previous one drone with an increased recharge time in order to stop his reign of terror as well. When looking at these frustrating operators, I'd simply like to compare Nomad and Gridlock. Now, both serve a similar function as flank denial, but with Gridlock being, in my opinion, the better implementation, both balance and frustration-wise. If you run into an air jab and get yeeted to God knows where, you're often frustrated and pissed off at the air jab. Whereas if you die to a Gridlock track, you can only be pissed at yourself. Now, the last thing that Siege desperately needs, you can already hear the frustration in my voice, is a sound overhaul. For all things holy, a sound overhaul. At this point, I don't think it's a secret to anyone. The sound engine in Siege has been getting progressively worse every season, with the most recent season being so bad that oftentimes I wished I just had muted my sound altogether, since I expected to mess with my play. There have been many occasions where, even though logically I know someone is coming from one direction, then I hear a sound that so clearly is coming from the opposite direction, and I react to it. So then I have to fight my own brain to swing back to the logical side of the person who was in front of me the entire time. And since Siege is a game that relies heavily on sound, it needs a sound to be accurate. When I first started in Velvet Shell, I was super impressed by the accuracy of what I could hear. But since then, I feel like it's consistently gotten worse, and especially after they broke how sound travels through floors in specific areas. This specific change makes holding positions like red stairs on Villa impossible due to the uncertainty of where you're getting pushed from. Now, I'm not sure if the original developers that worked on the sound engine still work on the team, but I feel that regardless, the engine needs to be redesigned for more consistency. All these changes are to help the experience of playing Siege to be more enjoyable. If you have any ideas of your own or disagree with mine, leave a comment down below. As always, my name is Jpeasy. Take it easy.